Welcome to our garden. Want to know how we get our plants to grow so big and feed our 30 plus animals, plus my wife and me, and help out at our church dinners? The way we feed them. Connor Carson asked on one of our videos how we make sure that all of our stuff grows in abundance, and it basically comes down to food. So I thought I'd do a video on different ways that we feed our plants to make them grow so big and healthy. Just like people, plants need four main things to grow: light, water, air, and food, or actually vitamins. The sunlight is collected through that green pigment called chlorophyll. Remember science class? The water is sucked up through these deep, beautiful root systems. And from the air, carbon dioxide is absorbed through microscopic little leaf pores called stomata. The plant uses all of this to break down the water and carbon molecules and then rearranges them into sugar, basically. It's either burned immediately or it's stored as starch in the plant. Sounds familiar. When I eat and drink, I either burn it immediately, like sweating in the garden, or I store it. Sometimes I don't want to. Anyways, from this whole beautiful chemistry comes an amazing thing: oxygen. So we get to breathe too. Now, soil is basically dirt and fertilizer, and it contains all the plant's vitamins, all the essential things like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, all those things that build strong cell walls and help the plant reproduce. And when the plant reproduces, we get peppers and strawberries and tomatoes and all of those yummy things. First of all, because we live on a farm, we have these guys and horses and pigs and chickens, and they make poop. This is horse poop, which, as you can see, is just basically grass that's already been decomposed. This has been sitting out for several months, so it is ready and good to go in the garden. We also have this. This is our duck's pool, and this is what it looks like after about 2 days. Every 2 to 3 days, we change out this water, but we don't just dump this water. The ducks are very excited. It goes directly into our garden. So we drain and take buckets and put it on all the plants around our garden every couple of days. Not just this garden, but our food forest garden, our side gardens and patches, and our kitchen garden. So this stuff is wonderful, but there's other ways you can get yummy food for your plants. Eggshells are about 95% calcium carbonate. This makes them an excellent slow-release fertilizer. Our plants like our tomatoes, our peppers, our eggplants love them because they love the calcium. In fact, calcium deficiency in these plants can cause blossom end rot, where that fruit develops and it'll get leathery patches. Vining crops like cucumbers and squash and melons love eggshells. They require calcium to stay steady and for their vines to grow and for the fruit to be really crisp and healthy. Even your brassicas, your broccoli, your cabbage, your cauliflower, they are heavy feeders, and all of this calcium helps their leaves get really strong. And since we're eating the leaves, that's important. And those root vegetables, carrots, radishes, this is what makes strong roots and healthy tubers. Even my strawberries love calcium to make those big, beautiful berries. And crushed eggshells scattered around the base actually help deter slugs and other things like that. Now, this is one of our duck eggs. So before I use it, I'm going to rinse it thoroughly and remove any of the little white membrane inside. And normally you crush or grind them. If you can crush them down really finely, like with a mortar pestle, or we have an old coffee grinder that we use to turn them into a powder, it absorbs better, and it actually helps when you can sprinkle them out more. We sometimes mix these powder shells directly into our potting mix when we're doing our grow bags, or we put them directly into our plants, or you can just add them to your compost pile. Banana peels are packed with potassium, phosphorus, calcium, and magnesium, and they are so good for our nightshades. Our sweet peppers and hot peppers both like them, cucumbers, our zucchini, our cantaloupes, our strawberries, our carrots, even our fruit trees. When we are not feeding these to the pigs, we chop them up really good and we bury them down in the soil. You can use like sharp scissors or garden shears to cut them into pieces and bury them about 2 to 3 inches deep so the at the base of the plant so earthworms can break them down. You also can dehydrate them and make a powder. So you take dry peels, lay them out maybe in the sun. I guess you can use a food dehydrator, but we don't have one, so we use the sun. And then you can grind them into a fine powder and sprinkle just a few tablespoons around. You can also toss them in your compost bin. Finally, something we drink every day is really beneficial: coffee grounds. Plants love these, especially those acid-loving crops and heavy nitrogen feeders. Fruit plants, vegetable plants that benefit are blueberries, strawberries, citrus, cranberries. Our carrots and radishes and potatoes like them. And tomatoes, I use them in moderation, but a little bit. Our peppers, our leafy greens like lettuce and spinach love that nitrogen boost. Cucumbers and zucchini, all of these use used grounds to deliver slow nitrogen, potassium, and magnesium into the soil. It also helps with the drainage. When you mix them, the texture of them can make the soil drain better. And if you put a little ring around your plants, it keeps away slugs and snails. I can see why they also don't smell too good once they've been used. Now, some are too high acidic. For some plants, they're too acidic, and you want to make sure you use wet, used coffee grounds, not dry ones, because all that caffeine will just kill your plant. You can put them in your compost bin, or we keep them in an old coffee container. Oh, it's gross. Along with our eggshells and other things. And then about every week or two, we go out and just do a nitrogen boost for everybody. You don't want to use them, however, on your asparagus, your lavender, your rosemary, your mint, because they don't like coffee. Everything else drinks about as much as I do. I am so sweaty from working out in the garden, and I still have tons of work to do. But I hope that answers your question. There's lots of ways that you can feed your plant that are natural and not chemical based. And our whole garden is all natural. We don't use fertilizers or pesticides that don't come straight from the food we or our animals eat, or from the co-work of plants and animals together in our garden. I'm going to keep working away, keep sweating, so I can go in and take a shower and cook some of this food and make a really good meal for me and my wife. Happy gardening.